Hello, nice to see that much people. Cool, a lot of unfamiliar faces. Nice. So I'm Steven from iCaps. I'm a UX designer, and as a UX designer, the biggest downside is the constant frustration. I pity the people who have to live with us, with a lunatic screaming at the microwave because the button is displaced. So I'm going to use this moment to talk about my biggest frustrations, passwords. And I hope I can inspire you the next time you need to design, develop, or even approve a login flow to think outside the box and make the futureless passwords, the passwordless future, a reality and not just a dream. So what are we going to do? We are going to see where it all began, who's to blame for this mess, some facts and figures. What do the big boys say, the tech giants, about passwords? What do they think passwords will evolve in the future? And what can we do as designers or as developers, product owners? So where it all began. On this picture you see Fernando Corbato with the CTSS. He was the director of the CTSS. It is a commune time-sharing system of MIT in the early 60s. It was a shared community of pioneers. They did some groundbreaking work. They invented email, file sharing, and instant messaging. But it was a shared environment, so they needed some sort of user authentication because computing time was limited. So what they did, they created a master password file. They gave every user a unique password. And when the user entered the system, they need to enter the password, and it was checked against the master password file. So actually, they invented the password without realizing it. One of the users was Alan Scher. He was a PhD doctorate at MIT at the time, but he knew that 4 hours of computing time was not enough to complete his research. So one night he slipped some malware into the system, and the next day he was able to print out all the master password file. So even the inventors of the password were responsible for the first password breach. So let's sink that one in. So now we go back to the present. How do people use passwords today, and what do they think about passwords today? So the first 24% of all American users have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or some other ridiculous easy combination as their passwords. That was in 2019. So that's easy for a human to guess, but imagine AI or other algorithms, it's ridiculous. Another thing, more than one in 3 users keep their passwords in notebooks or other tools like Excel. So you can just steal someone's online identity. 27% of all users reuse their passwords in professional and personal lives. So for companies, that's a major issue. If people use their passwords at unsafe websites and they use that passwords for their professional life, your company is just exposed to a lot of danger. Then 1 in 5 users would rather accidentally reply all than reset their password. So reply all, not that cool to do. So rather do that than resetting a password. That's very hard. And this one, it's research from Google. 1 in 3 users stop using an account or service after forgetting their passwords. We spend thousands, sometimes millions of dollars and euros to develop a product. Every detail needs to be correct. Pictures, we spend millions on copy. We do everything what we want. But 1 in 3 users just say, I don't know my password, delete the app completely. So maybe something to think about. Then also 597 password attacks every second. That's 80 billion a year. That's a lot. So a few password attacks per person each year. And then 66% of all American users admit to use their password across multiple sites due to strong restrictions. So making a password hard isn't a guarantee to have safe passwords, because I have the average user has 130 passwords or accounts that are password protected. And if you are like me and you forget what you have had for dinner yesterday, then 130 passwords with characters, haiku, things like that, it's just impossible to remember. And then 60% of large and global enterprises will be passwordless for more than half of their use cases by 2023. What it means is they found that a lot of big organizations, multinationals, want to get rid of passwords. A lot of big companies with a lot of sensitive data, and also things like journalists, or because the Russian attacks and China attacks are getting more and more involved with USB devices. You need to plug in your computer just to use the computer and the account. So they go back old school, a physical device. So a lot of organizations will do that. And then the last one, 15% of all passwords are pet names. So I don't know whose password is a pet. Is there a pet? No? No? So in 2020, searches for how secure is my password increased by 300%. So a lot of people, it's also a concern of people using passwords. Is my password safe enough? You see that when you enter a password, when it's designed correctly, you see, okay, it's a strong password, but what does it mean? Yeah, it takes 1 billion seconds to hack it. Yeah, okay, cool, but is it safe? So the conclusion is, people don't like passwords. They just don't like it. They don't like to use them. They don't like to reset them. They don't like to have them. They don't like to remember them. And so, what do the big boys say about that? The tech giants. Apple says passwords as we know them will become a thing of the past. They said it on their last convention in August, I think. They said we will get rid of password in the future. And then if Microsoft tells something about user experience, you know it has to be really, really, really bad. If even they found the user experience not that good. So the way to better protection and improve the user experience leads to a passwordless future. I think it's a good catchphrase for a UX beer meeting. And then Google, passwords are the biggest security threat, and by making them the sole key to kingdom, corporations face consequences should those passwords be compromised. That speaks for itself. So the conclusion, corporations don't like passwords. So what can we do about it? The first thing I want to talk about is, do we need a password? A lot of times when you need to design a login flow, the company you're designing a flow for, or the client or the company you work for says, okay, users need to log in. But a login wall isn't that good. This example, Netflix, you need to sign in to see the catalog of Netflix. Actually, that's really strange. Why do you need to sign in to see what's inside the store? It's like you have to pay something to gain access. It's really strange. Of course, when you want to watch something and you have to pay, then you have to subscribe to it. But ask the users for authentication only if it's really necessary. Then the next thing is the third-party login. You rely on the infrastructure and security of big tech. Sign in with Apple is a good example. You have one master password. Your device recognizes knows the password, and it relies on that. So Apple says, okay, you can trust our infrastructure. We guard everything for you. If somebody has a question about those things, or have some bad experiences or good experience, please shoot. Then one thing I like is the magic links. It's possible with email, or it's possible with just with text message. You enter your email address, you get a link, you click on it, you're inside the app. And it's an easy way for a two-factor authorization, but also yeah, you can always receive. It works. It always works. You just have to fill in your phone number. The company knows who you are. It has your phone number. It's okay. And then two-factor authentication. It's again an extra layer of security to let users verify their identity by something they know, like a password. A lot of apps like banking apps are now like that. The first time you log in, it's a whole hassle, but the next time, just use your passwords. Then something they have, like a physical device. Google does that. When you enter your Gmail on your phone, you have to open your app on your smartphone and just you're signed in. And then something they are, it's like biometrics or fingerprint or iris scan or maybe what, I don't know what the future will bring about that. And then EID, that's something me and my colleague Peter are working on right now. So to use the EID of the user as a safe form of authentication, it's very known now. From the COVID Save app, of course. Before COVID, it was a 10% adaptation, and now it's 70%. The numbers came out, I think, on last Wednesday, I think, the new Digimeter. So you can use that to have a very secure way of logging in. So the conclusion, for a better user experience, of course, and a better safety, don't use password as a default. Think about it. First, do we need a password? Do we need users to log in? And then think, okay, what can we do? Can we just have a phone number? Is it enough to send a magic link? Things like that, okay? So yeah, that's it. Are there any questions about it? Yeah?
What's your opinion on password managers? Because they generate very secure passwords.
Yeah.
They handle all the...
But it's a whole hassle when you switch devices. It can be a whole hassle. And when you use another device, it's not... Yeah?
I'm using one password and it's great, it works great.
Yeah, you use one password, but is it safe? Yeah, for you it's safe, but can you rely that every user use that system, like things like one password? Because signing in with Apple is a little bit the same as one password, but just built in. Yeah.
But it works on all devices.
Yeah.
It's cross device. And also, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying anything, but go ahead.
Yeah, but I didn't found any numbers on password managers. Like how many people uses password managers? Yeah. Who doesn't use a password manager here? Doesn't.
Dares to say that?
Some people, yeah. But I know a lot of people outside this room who aren't that tech savvy, who don't have a password manager. Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell my employer.
One password because it's a family thing also.
Okay, cool.
And the good thing there is if something happens with me, because it's a family thing, we have also a shared password manager there, so they can actually also get into my password.
Yeah.
I think on password managers, I think this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Using password
That's cool.
managers for that.
It's also your digital legacy. Your digital legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're dead, your wife can say, "Oh, he's dead" on Facebook. Yeah.
I'm going to pass around the mic to people who have questions, just because we're live streaming, so they would need to be able to hear at home.
So I'm actually working on a login flow, so this is a good timely presentation.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And we were also considering magic links, but I'm a bit afraid of the email, that it's a bit slow.
Too slow.
I find that with Notion, for example, that where is my email? Like maybe it arrives 3 minutes later. So I'm a bit bothered by magic links as the only solution.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of text message magic links. Just a unique 4-digit code. If you're on your smartphone, you can enter it directly. It's built in on iOS and Android. And then yeah, if it's on your phone, who hasn't their phone with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then if you have bad connection, it might cause. Oh, sorry. If you have bad connection, it might cause a huge frustration in the user experience. If there's no.
Yeah, but if you have a bad
immediate connection.
Yeah, but if you have a bad connection on your phone, then you also have a bad connection on your phone
Yeah,
for the.
But if it's the only way, because I'm also working on
Yeah,
a project where we need some kind of exchange between two people, and there needs to be a verification of an identity. But I wanted to go passwordless. But if there's a hiccup, if there's some malfunction, the transaction can happen. So.
But it's also possible with passwords. There can be
I know,
a problem
but now
to log in. So
now we're looking at actually creating an account on beforehand, because that might remove that frustration. But
and how what do you mean by that?
it creates another one, creating the actual accounts. But
So sorry, I'm not following.
yeah, well, we're just gonna send them an email before the transaction.
Yeah,
they
okay,
can
yeah, like that,
create an
yeah.
account on beforehand, because
Yeah.
that's something I wanted to
Yeah.
prevent. But
Yeah, something like Uber Eats only works with text messages, I think. I don't think you have a password there. It's linked to your email address, but I think it's just with text message and
Yeah, text message code, I believe.
But yeah, you also you stay logged in. So normally you log in with text message and you stay logged in the app. You can then, in combination with like a PIN code or biometrics, it works. You just have bad luck if the first time you use the application, and then you have a bad connection, yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you a little bit concerned with the magic links that some applications are like give your phone number and then you get a code, but somehow the phone number gets in some kind of company, and then it's used to stalk you with annoying calls. I don't know.
But I wouldn't trust those companies with my password either. So if you you have to choose what things you have to trust. Yeah, I can imagine that you don't give it for free, and maybe for GDPR. With phone numbers, I hope you can rely on it, that it's that they follow the rules.
There's legislation around that.
Yeah.
It's the GDPR legislation. You can only use it for authentication.
But every time I get a call from Proximus, I ask them, how did you get my phone number? And it's like, we don't know. Yeah, you have to be able to tell me, but yeah.
But I do share the same frustrations. There are a lot of times that I'm like on some kind of application or website, and they're like, get an account, and it really annoys me. The login walls, the password.
It's strange. Yeah.
It does keep me away from certain sites, for example. So,
yeah. And what do you think about what's a good solution for you? Is it the magic links or?
Personally, I also use a password manager.
Yeah.
And I tried for like websites that are not that important. I let the manager generate a password.
Yeah.
And then it fills it in. I pay a little price because I went premium, so I can also use it on other devices, for example. So.
And can you use a mock email address with one password, like Apple?
I don't know, for getting into one password.
No, when you sign in with Apple, Apple makes a mock email address only for that website.
Yeah.
So it's like 20 digits and.
That's not up to one password, eh?
No.
It's if you use a mock password from Apple, it's going to use that mock password in your.
No, the mock email address.
The mock email address, you can store that in your one password. Eh? You can do whatever in one password what you want.
Yeah.
So for files.
Yeah, we also use it at iCaps, one password. Yeah, it works.
I'm impressed by the numbers of It's Me. I know that there's been several projects within the government or various government organizations who have tried to institute a sort of a government verified login like that. So that's pretty impressive. I'm wondering if maybe we go back to that slide with the list of different authentications and do a quick poll just in-house to see like, what do you prefer? What do you think is the most secure and easy, the balance of the two that you would prefer to use? Is it biometrics? Is it magic links? Is it the EID? Maybe I'll go through. So third-party login, who thinks that that's sort of the best one in terms of experience?
can we say that 1Password is also third-party login or not?
No,
No? Okay, no.
I don't think so.
So a few people. How about magic links? Who prefers those?
If it's too,
5 or 6.
if it's too FA, yes.
If it's too FA.
Because it's more than just happy link, magic link.
So you mean that the first time you open the app, you get a magic link?
Authenticated apps.
Yeah.
So an authenticated app is also a bit like this. That's 2FA, so 2FA I like.
Yeah.
What about two-factor authentication?
Yeah.
Maybe an extra step. Okay, again, a few people, maybe a few more. And EID.
A lot of people, yeah.
That would be good enough, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but it feels safe.
It feels safe, yeah. It's also linked to your bank account and the government is in it and yeah.
There's one sentence in there, I don't know if you guys think this, but there is hurry up before it's too late. I'm always in my, like, hurry up before it's too late. This time I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
we have 3 minutes.
Yeah, but what I think is very cool about It's Me, I don't do my taxes myself. My mother does it for me, so she's like, I'm going to open, just open It's Me, and you can give me access to your or does it tax on web? Yeah, just like what's the icon? It's like it's some sort of shape of a house, and then she clicks on it, and it's okay, cool. I like that.
The idea that the perfect solution for Belgium, everyone is going around with an ID in the pocket. I'm coming from London, no one has IDs.
Yeah, it doesn't exist really. Yeah.
Perfect solution, but
Yeah.
all European countries,
Yeah.
there's also a Dutch version of it.
Yeah.
Dutch one.
Yeah, that's a good point. It would be, it's not cross-border yet.
No. Yeah, we did some research on it it was for a purely Belgian client, so only working in Belgium, only for people registered in Belgium. But the numbers were very hard to get. I called to the Ministry of Technology and everybody, but there weren't any figures about it. So I was very happy that the Digimeter was published last week. So yeah, 70%, so a lot. Yeah.
About using It's Me in terms of user experience, I'm just wondering whether it's always the best solution, because we have a product for schools and teachers in which we had to have It's Me as a two-factor authentication. But previously they were using a password, and we've had a lot of complaints that they had to use It's Me because it takes a lot longer to log in. They have to have their phone with them.
And they always needed to log in with It's Me every time they...
Depends on the software we're working on. Is it when it's the administrative, because we have data from the state, like their ID number, that needs to be protected. So for that, we need It's Me to log in.
Yeah,
so because it's sensitive data.
Sensitive data, yeah.
Then It's Me, it's it's mandatory, but we also have like the more senior teachers and administrators who don't always have a smartphone or don't like using it or are not feeling comfortable with using it.
Yeah.
So those are all frustrations that our users have, but we don't have any other options that we can use. So I think those are things you need to take in account when choosing which of those.
And it isn't possible to have some two-factor authentication, like the first time with It's Me and then password protected, and then it's...
That's the current solution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does that work, or...?
Well, this works with It's Me, but...
Yeah.
It works with It's Me, but they're complaining.
Yeah.
We still have to investigate the other options.
Yeah. If you always have to log in with It's Me.
Yeah.
No, not that good. Okay.
Anyone else had a question? Sorry. I think you're making a good point that It's Me, for me, it feels safer and it's nicer. But like my grandmother, the older generation, she couldn't make the account on her own for It's Me.
Yeah.
Her bank was not linked, for example. So, yeah, once again, it's not the entire solution, because there are other generations or use cases that it won't work. So, yeah.
And but for important applications like COVID CWeb, you have
It was for a COVID
but you have
CWeb, yeah.
Sesam built on top of that, and then you can also have like tokens given by the government, so you can go to the gemeentehuis, town hall, and then you get a list with tokens. It's also physical, so
Yeah,
not
that's
that great,
once
but
again.
yeah.
I think she called or something, and then they mailed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing on the
Yeah.
code on a paper. So yeah.
But for things involving money or insurances, I really like It's Me. It would feel strange if it's not with It's Me, I think. No.
Is there one last question and then we'll wrap it up? You want?
Just want to raise a little concern before we all start implementing It's Me. It's a privately owned company, to my understanding, so the government is not in it, and also it's very expensive,
Yeah, it's very expensive,
to
yeah.
implement. So, I mean, two-factor authentication with SMS is also very expensive. Imagine sending all those SMSs. Charles Michel wants to build his own WhatsApp Mathieu Michel, I mean,
Yeah.
wants to build his own WhatsApp to combat that for the Belgian alert. Because imagine sending like 10 million SMSs. If there's a COVID problem, they want to counter that. So there's also like a business cost to integrate it. That's
But yeah,
what
do you always have, when it comes to security, you always have a big cost.
Yeah.
One of the developers here, William, is trying to see how much it costs for an organization to have like password and login, security problems, things like that. And if it's a reasonable cost to send a text message instead of that.
It's a good point, though. But you can tell
Yeah.
you've touched on a really hot topic when you have so much discussion afterwards. So thank you so much for bringing that to us. It was really fascinating. And and I found it really interesting that there wasn't really any consensus on the preference in this room. So that means there's still a ways to go before we figure out what's
We know nothing.
the best way. Yeah. So we're going to go to break. We'll come back at 8 o'clock. If you haven't done it already, we didn't do a good job of advertising it. You can make a name tag at the end of that table. Just makes it easier to network and introduce and talk to your fellow colleagues or people that you haven't met before. So make a name tag. You can put a sticker on it, and so it matches your personality. The toilets are just off of the... just behind us. Sorry, just behind us right here.
Yeah.
Grab
also
a drink.
Behind the corner.
Also behind the corner. Okay. Grab a drink, and we'll see you in about 20 minutes back here at 8 o'clock for the next speaker, Marianne.
Thanks for your time. Thanks a lot.